As doctors, we are meant to save lives. It is our main mission on Earth. So that was why I went ahead to fulfill the last wish of a dying man and save his son without questions. The next day, I did not only find out that the man I saved was wanted, I also discovered a shocking revelation that made me question for the first time in my life if this man I saved was worth saving. Welcome to the V Romance Library, where love meets danger and passion. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe and share. Few hours earlier. Blood seeps between my fingers, warm and slick despite the gloves. Too much blood. The monitor's scream flattens into that single damning note that means I've failed. Again. For the second time today. Time of death, 11:43. The words flow out of my mouth with bitterness. I strip off my gloves with a snap, throwing them into the trash can. My eyes meet the body on the table, and for a moment, I just think about how unfair life is. That this person who has just died had woken up this morning without knowing he would die today. Before I can process the weight settling into my bones, the trauma bay doors explode inward. Cheryl, the charge nurse, has that look on her face. Mass casualty incoming, shooting at the Bellini estates, 20+ victims, 5 minutes out. My exhaustion evaporates like alcohol on skin. The Bellini estate. Even though I know that name, I make it a point to ignore Chicago's underworld the same way I ignore my mother's phone calls, deliberately and completely. But the Bellinis are impossible to ignore. They own half the South Side, and if the rumors are true, they own half the city council too. How many? I ask, as I pull on fresh gloves, exhaustion running away. They don't know yet. First responders are still. The sirens cut her off. Not just one or two. A whole chorus of them screaming closer. Ambulances flood the entrance one after another. Medical personnel rush in, carrying bodies faster than we can process them. The air fills with shouting, with the metallic tang of blood and the sharp antiseptic burn. I move through it, my eyes darting around. Who can I save? Who can wait? Who is already gone? Gunshot wound to the leg. Survivable. Send him to OR 2. Gunshot wound to the chest. Critical. OR 1, now. Then I see him. An elderly man, maybe 70, lying on the floor. The bullet wound in his chest tells me he has minutes, not hours. I rush to him and drop to my knees beside him. Sir, stay with me. I've got you. He grabs my hands with so much strength that I flinch. He closes his eyes for a moment, muttering something, and then opens them again. He looks at me. My son. The words bubble up with blood, frothing at his lips. Save my son. He is trapped in the chapel. We'll save you both, just let me. No. He insists, still holding my hands, making sure I can't move. Dmitri, my son. Save him. Hide him. They are looking for him. His grip loosens. The light drains from his eyes. His hands fall by his side, and he closes his eyes. Sir, I call out, slapping his cheeks. No response. I look at my watch. Time of death. 12 hours. Elena, save someone else, that man is gone. Marcus shouts at me. I stand up and turn to walk away, his words still echoing in my head. I should probably report what he said. The thought follows me through the next hour as I work, suturing, stabilizing, sending patient after patient up to surgery. The police are everywhere, taking statements, examining bodies, their radios crackling with codes I don't understand. I should tell them about the chapel, the son who's being hunted. But that word, hunted, makes me stop. Makes me wonder what to do. I don't think the police is the way out. He would have asked me if it were. I can't leave now. They would notice my absence. And the chapel is far from here. My eyes scan the whole area. Time of death being announced like some hymn. Women crying. I find Marcus near the supply closet, updating charts with shaking hands. He's a second-year surgical resident. with warm brown skin and the kind of genuine goodness that makes me wonder how he survived this long in a place that eats compassion for breakfast. I need your help. I keep my voice low. No questions. He looks up and I watch him read my face. Marcus has known me for 3 years. He knows the difference between my normal crazy and my about to do something extraordinarily stupid crazy. Elena, what? No questions, Mark. He closes the chart. Follow me. Somehow, Marcus helps me slip away without anyone noticing, claiming someone hurt me and he needed to take care of me. Marcus and I walk into the chapel that is now filled with blood. Everywhere. My eyes scan the whole place, looking for the sun. But nothing. Everyone here is immobile. That means they are dead. So where is this man's son? Elena, be fast. We need to leave before whoever is hunting them comes back. I look around for 2 minutes and I'm about to turn and go when we hear someone hitting the door, slowly, groaning. Without wasting time, I follow the sound and push the door open. Jesus Christ! Marcus screams as he looks at the man. He has 3 bullet holes, blood oozing out of them. He raises his eyes to look at us. My breath hitches as I meet his sea blue, troubled eyes. Help me, he whispers, and then closes them. Marcus immediately grabs my hands. Elena, we can't do this. Let's just walk away. I rush to check his pulse. It's there, faint, but there. Help me get him inside. This is insane. We have to call. I turn to look at Marcus, or rather glare at him. He's someone's son, I say quietly. And his father's last words were asking me to save him. I know, but... No buts, Marcus. We are doctors. We live to save people. Now stop whining and bring the kit, I snap. Something about my words, my tone, the way I glared at him, makes him settle beside me, handing me a glove. We carry him slowly into the ambulance. Thankfully, he's still breathing as we get to the hospital. I follow through the back door and use my card to get him into the OR, where I start operating on him. I immediately begin cleaning the wound, examining everything. Being a trauma surgeon for 5 good years has taught me to think with my hands when my brain is too tired to function. The shoulder wound is cleaned through and through, missed the major vessels, I can work with that. The abdominal wound is bad. The bullet touched his liver. His pressure is dropping. I'm losing him. Clamp. I snap at Marcus. His hands shake as he passes it to me. Come on. My voice is barely a whisper. Your father didn't send me to you so you could die on my table. Please, let me be lucky enough for him to live. For 30 minutes, I operate on him with Marcus by my side. No one else is around the OR. There's only the rhythm of the monitor's beep. Marcus's breathing, my own breath, and the silent prayer I whisper in my heart as I help him. When his vitals finally stabilize, I step back and nearly collapse against the wall. I pull off my gloves and take a glass of water. Marcus is by my side, panting, as I look at the man who I know will be awake within a few hours. The bone-chilling realization settles on my shoulders. What did we just do? Marcus asks. He's staring at his hands. Saved a life, I whisper back. I smile. The joy that has been missing since my last patient died returns to me. I saved a life. I should go home, shower, sleep for about 16 hours, and maybe call the police and tell them about his father's last words. But I don't. Instead, I stand beside his bed and watch him breathe. In sleep, he looks almost innocent. The harsh lines of his face soften. His full lips part slightly with each exhale. There's a scar through his left eyebrow that I didn't notice before. It makes him look hot, dangerous, in a way that has nothing to do with the bullets I just pulled from his body. Who are you, Dmitri? The name feels strange in my mind. Foreign. And what have I just gotten myself into? I try to imagine what's going on outside. Maybe the police are looking for him right now. And here I am, in a secret place, staring at the man they're looking for. I should be terrified. Should be planning how to cover my tracks, how to explain this if it all goes wrong. But as I look down at him, this stranger I've stitched back together with thread and hope, all I feel is the echo of his father's dying wish. Save my son. I did. Now I just have to figure out how to live with what comes next. Chapter 2. The coffee tastes like burned rubber and regret. But I drink it anyway, because it's the only thing keeping me upright. 72 hours. That's how long it's been since I pulled bullets out of a stranger and decided to play God with other people's lives. My hands shake as I lift the cup. Not from the caffeine. I'm well past the point where caffeine does anything except keep my heart beating. No. This is pure exhaustion, mixed with that special kind of anxiety that comes from knowing you're one mistake away from losing everything. The attending lounge is empty at 4 a.m., just me, and the ancient coffee maker that sounds like it's dying every time it brews. I should go home, shower, pretend to sleep in my own bed for once instead of catching 20-minute naps in the on-call room between checking on my secret patient. My secret criminal patient, if I'm being honest with myself. Dr. Volkov? I don't jump, barely. Marcus stands in the doorway looking like he hasn't slept either, which makes sense, because he hasn't. We've been trading shifts watching Dimitri, like we're prison guards instead of doctors. Someone's going to notice. He keeps his voice low, even though we're alone, eyes darting to the hallway. We've been giving him drugs without the pharmacy's notice. They'll soon start noticing the missing unreported drugs. When that happens, what do we do? He asks. I roll my eyes and turn to him. We lie. Until we're caught, Marcus, we lie. Besides, we didn't do anything bad. We saved his life. Yeah, but you stole. Marcus, drop it. I'll handle it. How? The word comes out sharper than usual. Look, Elena, I love you, but you can't handle everything. At some point, I said I'll handle it. He stares at me for a long moment, and I watch the conflict play across his face. The urge to push back versus his inherent need to trust people. Trust always wins with Marcus. It's going to get him killed one day. Maybe today, if I'm not careful. Fine. He doesn't sound convinced. But if this goes wrong, it won't, I assure him, though deep down I know that's a lie. I walk into his room to change his clothing. I gently remove his stitches and dress his wounds. When I pause, goosebumps crawl across my skin. I can feel someone looking at me. My hands freeze. His eyes are open, dark blue, almost black. They're unfocused, confused, scanning the room. He tries to sit up and gasps, a sharp wounded sound that makes me drop the gauze and press gentle hands to his shoulders. Easy. My voice comes out softer than I intended. You've been shot. Thrice. You need to stay still. He stares at me like I'm speaking Russian. His lips move, forming words that won't come, and I can see the frustration building in the tight lines around his mouth. What's your name? I ask, keeping my hands on his shoulders. His brow furrows, and then he looks at me, eyes wide with fear, panic. His voice is rough. I don't. His hand shoots to his head, fingers tangling in his hair. Why can't I? What's my name? The words hit me like something unexpected and devastating. You don't remember? I don't remember anything. His voice cracks down the middle. Who am I? Why am I here? What happened to me? I blink hard, trying to steady myself before I open my mouth to tell him the little I know. Your name is Dimitri. You were brought in after a shooting at an estate outside the city. I pause, sigh heavily, and lock eyes with his. Your father? He didn't make it. I'm sorry. I watch the words land, watch his face crumple like paper. My father, he repeats hollow. I can't see his face. Something hot builds behind my eyes. I blink it back. I don't cry. I haven't cried since my residency, when a 16-year-old kid died on my table and I learned that tears are luxuries surgeons can't afford. But God, the cruelty of it. To lose your father and not even remember him. What else can't you remember? My voice is steadier than I feel. Everything. The word comes out raw. It's all just empty. Like someone took an eraser to my entire life. I don't even have an identity. He looks down at his hands, turning them over like they belong to someone else. I don't know if I have siblings, if I'm married, if I'm a good person, or... He trails off, jaw clenching. Or something else. I explain about the shooting, carefully editing the parts that might send him into shock. That there was violence, that people were looking for him, that I had to hide him, for his own safety. Why would you do that? He asks, his voice deep, confused. You don't know me. I could be dangerous. Or, why they're looking for me. What if that hurts you? I shrug. Well, they'd have to know I saved you to hurt me. Besides, your father asked me to save you. The memory of that grip on my wrist, those gray eyes going dim, flashes before me. That has to count for something. He looks away and I watch his throat work as he swallows. What if he was wrong? What if I deserved what happened? Nobody deserves to be hunted down and shot. You don't know that. He turns back to me and there's something fierce in his expression now. Something that makes me wonder what kind of man he was before the bullets. You don't know who I am. Neither do you, I think. But I don't say it, because that feels cruel. And I've been cruel enough for one day. A few hours later, Dmitri feels wrong, he says, as he watches me check his stats. It's later. Hours later, after I've checked his vitals 3 times and forced him to eat something that barely qualifies as food. The sun is starting to set, painting the room in shades of amber and shadow. I look up from his chart. What? The name. Dmitri. He shifts, winces a little. It feels wrong. Like, why would I be called Dmitri? He asks. I shrug as I turn to him. His stats are good. I don't know why the name, but that's the name your dad said. Or, do you want a new name? I ask playfully. Yes. He replies, tone serious. He looks at me. I want a new name. What should I call you then? He's quiet for a long moment, staring at the ceiling, like the answers might be written there. I don't know, he finally says. Everything feels wrong, like I'm living in someone else's skin. I watch him struggle with it, and something in my chest cracks. This is my fault somehow. I saved his body, but maybe not him. Maybe the man was dead on my table and this is just what's left. An idea forms. Reckless, probably stupid. But then again, I've built my last 3 days on reckless and stupid decisions. Then we'll start fresh, I say. Until you remember. What if I call you Dante? His eyes turn to mine. Dante? From Dante's Inferno, lost in the dark woods trying to find his way. I smile slightly. Seemed fitting. Dante. He nods gently. I like it. And for the first time since I pulled him bleeding from that chapel, he almost smiles. That night, I'm at the nurse's station updating charts when they arrive. 2 men in expensive suits that probably cost more than my car. They move with the kind of confidence so sharp, so extraordinary, like they grew up as commanders. My pen freezes midway. They approach security, and even from here I can see the crisp fold of something being passed. A photo, maybe. The security guard studies it, shakes his head, points toward administration. My heart pounds so hard I can feel it in my throat. I can't see the photo clearly from this distance, but I don't need to. I know exactly who they're looking for. The only man who survived the massacre, who was missing. Dante. Chapter 3. The discharge papers feel like forgery in my hands, which technically they are. I've falsified records before. Small things, a medication time adjusted to cover for a nurse's mistake, a surgery duration rounded down to avoid insurance red flags, the kind of lies that keep the hospital running, that protect good people from punishment. This is different. This is discharging a ghost patient who doesn't exist in any official system, signing off on recovery milestones for a man the world thinks is either dead or missing. My pen hovers over the signature line and I can feel the weight of it. Not the paper, but the decision. The point of no return. I sign it anyway. Marcus watches from the doorway, arms crossed. This is insane. You've mentioned that. I don't look up, filing the papers in the private record system that only I have access to. Several times. The hospital is asking questions, Elena. Too many supplies are missing. Too many unexplained charges to the VIP wing. His voice drops lower. And those men who came looking? They're offering money now. A huge amount for information about survivors from the Bellini shooting. My hand freezes on the filing cabinet. Did you? Jesus, no. He sounds offended. But someone will. You know they will. This place runs on underpaid residents and nurses drowning in student debt. That kind of money. He trails off, but we both know how that sentence ends. I close the cabinet with more force than necessary. The metal clang echoes in the empty office. So what am I supposed to do? Turn him over to people who want him dead? You could call the police. And tell them what? That I've been hiding a shooting victim for a week? That I performed unauthorized surgery and falsified records? I finally turned to face him. I'm already in this, Mark. The only way out is through. Where are you taking him? My apartment. Of course you are. He laughs. When they eventually catch you, why not add harboring a fugitive to your list of felonies? He asks. I ignore him, continuing with my work. Right now I am not a doctor. I am just a human being who thinks a life is worth saving regardless of what happened. That evening I sneak him out of the hospital and take him to my house. My apartment smells like coffee and antiseptic. The former because I'm addicted, the latter because I can't seem to scrub the hospital off my skin no matter how hard I try. It's small, one bedroom in a quiet neighborhood where people mind their own business, which is exactly why I chose it. The furniture is minimal, functional. Books line every available surface because reading is cheaper than therapy and almost as effective. Dante, I can't think of him as Dimitri anymore, stands in my living room, his eyes scanning the whole place. He's dressed in clothes Marcus grabbed from the hospital lost and found, jeans that fit too well, a navy Henley that emphasizes the breadth of his shoulders. The bandages hidden underneath are the only reminder that a week ago I was pulling bullets from his organs. He studies everything with such intensity that it makes me hyper-aware of my environment. The bookshelf is crammed with medical texts and dog-eared novels. The framed photos on the wall, me at my medical school graduation, me and Marcus at some hospital charity event. The dead plant in the corner that I keep meaning to throw away but never do. This is temporary, I say, setting down the bag of medical supplies I smuggled out. My voice comes out sharper than intended. You stay inside. No windows. No one can know you're here. He nods, but doesn't stop looking. What? I finally ask. I'm trying to understand you. His voice is soft. Why would you risk so much for a stranger? My throat tightens. Your father. A dying man's wish isn't enough reason to throw away your career, your safety. His gaze hardens, sharpens. So what's the real reason? I open my mouth. Close it. Open it again. Because I don't know how to answer. Not honestly. Not in a way that doesn't make me sound either reckless or insane, or both. What should I tell him? That I am a doctor and want to save lives, or that I find his blue eyes really cute? Nothing would make sense. So instead, I put on a smile and look at him. Maybe I'm just stupid. He chuckles, just a little bit, before looking at me. I don't think you're stupid, Elena. The way he says my name, careful, deliberate, sends something warm sliding through my chest. I turn away before he can see it on my face. Your room is through there. Try to rest. Days blur into each other. I work brutal shifts at the hospital while Dante stays hidden in my apartment, healing within a reasonable amount of time. Every morning I leave him instructions. Stay quiet. Stay hidden. Don't answer the door. Every evening I return to find those instructions followed perfectly. And every evening, there's coffee waiting. The first time it happened, I stared at the mug on the counter like it might be poisoned. It's exactly how I take it. 2 sugars, splash of cream. Nothing else. How did you know how I like my coffee? I asked, wrapping my hands around the cup, the warmth seeping into my cold fingers. He shrugs. I don't know. I just did it the way I like it. Or maybe I had someone like you who liked it, too. The thought of him remembering another life, a wife maybe, or a girlfriend who took her coffee the same way, makes me sick to my stomach. I drink the coffee at once, not wasting any time. Thank you, I manage to say, hiding my emotions behind a small smile. Every night I change his dressings. It becomes a ritual, a thing I look forward to, that he looks forward to. He's usually the one who reminds me, his tone laced with excitement. And the one time I forget, he looks so sad, like I've abandoned a vital part of his life. I wash my hands, lay out the supplies. He sits on the edge of my couch, shirt off, while I peel away the plaster and check for signs of infection that never come. It's been a ritual, until this evening as I dress his wounds carefully, making sure not to hurt him. You know one thing I've noticed about you? He asks. I shake my head. No. You're strange. I pause, dragging my eyes from his wounds to look at him. Me? Strange? Can you hear yourself? You're the strange one here, and Elena, calm down and hear me out, okay? What I mean is, you don't read romantic novels like girls do. Yeah, because I don't like them that much, I say, interrupting him. They set unrealistic standards, and I don't want to wrap myself around that world. Nothing is unrealistic, Elena. People go the extra mile for who they love. It's why it's called love. It drives you to the extent that you'd do anything for that person. I smile, even though I can feel my heart racing. Why the hell are we talking about love at this time? That's so sweet of you, but like I said, I don't want to do so. I prefer therapy books, self-development, and medical journals. Yeah, but I noticed something. He sits up, clearing his throat. I don't know how you'll take it, but you have so many books on learning how to forgive. Who hurt you? He asks. I swallow hard, staring at him. My palms become sweaty. His question sparks a memory in me, something I wanted to leave behind. You know why I wanted to become a doctor? A cardiologist, to be precise, I ask. He shakes his head. No, because I had a sister. She had a fragile heart, and I promised myself that I was going to make sure I help her. I was going to save her. She was so nice, so pretty. She cried whenever an animal got hurt. And then one day, we had an argument. I got so mad at her, and I refused to forgive her that day. She went out to buy me an apology gift, and was kidnapped. They said she witnessed something she wasn't supposed to see, and she was killed by some rich man who bent the law to his side. I pause as tears sting my eyes. He sits up and reaches out, his hand caressing my face. Tears flow freely, rolling down my cheeks. You know what? I've never been able to forgive myself for what I did. Maybe if I had forgiven her, this would never have happened. And from time to time, I try to forgive the man who killed my innocent, sweet sister. But, you know the irony? I ask. He shakes his head slowly. Even with all these books, all this talk about forgiveness, I still imagine that I'd find out who actually killed my sister, and that I'd have him, or someone close to him, on my operating table, so that I could make him meet his maker. Only then, Will I be happy? He reaches out again, his thumb gently wiping my tears. It's okay, Elena. I pray you actually meet the people who killed your sister and punish them. No one deserves to go through that. He pulls me closer, resting my head on his chest as he strokes my hair. I let myself go for a while, pouring out my whole heart. This was the first time I had cried in years, especially about my sister's death. At home, everyone blamed me because of the quarrel we had before she died. It's refreshing to find someone who doesn't judge me for one human mistake I made. After that encounter, I became more comfortable around him, telling him about my life, what had happened and what hadn't. Sometimes I'd withdraw again, fear rising within me that just like everyone else, he would one day leave me, or that I'd quarrel with him and he'd get shot by a Mafia don. And then one night, as I push the door open, I find him standing in front of the bookshelf, holding a photograph. It's me and Sophia, arms wrapped around each other, laughing at something neither of us would remember now. Her dark hair catches the sunlight, her smile wide and unguarded and alive. Who is she? Dante asks, his hands trembling as he holds the photo. My heart stops, restarts, stutters. My sister, Sophia. She's the one I told you died years back, I explain, trying to take the picture from his hands, but he tightens his grip around it, refusing to let go. He stares at the photo, and something crosses his face. Recognition, maybe. Or it's ghost. I'm so sorry, she looks familiar, like someone I should know. I shake my head, a nervous laugh escaping my lips. That's not possible. I knew everyone Sophia had as friends or acquaintances, and she's never met you. He shrugs. Maybe I saw her picture somewhere, or someone like her. But he sounds uncertain, and that uncertainty is worse than certainty. I take the photo from his hands and slip it into a drawer, trying to steady my breathing. You should rest. That evening, just like my dark, gloomy days, I shut my door and ignore his calls, wondering how he knew my sister and what connection he has with her. I was still lost in my thoughts when Marcus called me. Elena, you need to end this. Now. His voice was low, urgency dripping from every tone. I sat up immediately. Mark, someone came to the hospital today, showed his photo, offered not $100,000 but $500,000 for information about a missing man from the Bellini shooting. Did you? Of course not. He sounds hurt. But, Elena, think. If they want him that badly, it means he's either incredibly valuable or incredibly dangerous. Probably both. He's not dangerous, I insist. But my voice falters. He doesn't even remember who he is. Marcus exhales, sharp and tired. Are you sure about that? Or is that what he wants you to believe? The call ends. The apartment feels colder. I look toward the living room where Dante sleeps on my couch. Peaceful, beautiful, and unknown. For the first time since I pulled him bleeding from that chapel, I wonder if I've made a terrible mistake. Chapter 4. The beauty of being a doctor is not in being addressed as one, not the prestige that comes with it. It's the smile on the faces of patients and their families as you hug them and tell them that you've saved their loved one. The gratitude they show, it's real. It's something I'll never get tired of. A smile is still on my face as I watch the couple hug each other after I tell them their daughter survived the surgery. When Dr. Bailey, my department chief, appears in the doorway, he doesn't have his usual smile. Instead, there's a deep frown. Dr. Rivera, there's someone here to see you. My stomach drops. I'm with a patient. Now, Elena. The use of my first name tells me everything I need to know. This isn't a request. I follow him to the waiting room. A woman sits there, mid-50s, wearing a black gown with a fur cloak wrapped around her body. She smiles at me as she shakes my hand. Sorry for the disturbance, Dr. Elena. I'm Isabella Moretti. I believe you met my husband before he died. My heart drops immediately, my palms turning sweaty. but I force myself to stay calm. I'm very sorry for your loss, Mrs. Moretti, but I see many patients, and possibly my son. She cuts in sharply. My husband's last words were reported by the EMTs. He asked someone to save Dimitri. You were the attending surgeon that night? My heart hammers so hard I'm surprised she can't hear it. I can't discuss patient information. My son is missing, Dr. Rivera. Tears instantly well in her eyes as she looks at me. The men who attacked us are still looking for him. If you know where he is, please, tell me. His life is in danger. I meet her eyes and lie with the same steady voice I used to tell families their loved ones didn't make it. I'm sorry for your loss, but I can't help you. Isabella studies me, her eyes narrowing, trying to see if I'm lying. The silence stretches, pulling tight like sutures. My son is not a bad man, Dr. Rivera. Whatever you may have heard about our family. Her voice drops, softens into something almost vulnerable. He's gentle, kind, nothing like his father. She reaches into her purse and pulls out a photograph, setting it on the table between us. It's Dante, Dimitri, maybe 5 years younger, laughing at something off camera. His eyes are warm, unguarded. Nothing like the cold, remote images I've seen online. Please, Isabella whispers, if you know anything. I maintain my composure until she leaves. Then I lock myself in the bathroom and try to breathe through the panic attack clawing up my throat. Moretti. The Moretti family. Oh God. I come home to the smell of garlic and herbs. Dante stands in my kitchen stirring something on the stove that makes my mouth water, despite the nausea still churning in my gut. He's wearing the 2 big jeans and t-shirt I bought him, sleeves pushed up to reveal forearms corded with muscle, and the fading bruises from his IV lines. I thought you might be hungry, he says, glancing over his shoulder with a smile that reaches his eyes. I found the ingredients and just knew what to do. Muscle memory, I guess. I stare at him as he stirs the food on the stove. A thought crosses my mind. His mother came to see me today. Desperate, looking for her son. I've heard that family name, and I know it's tied to the underworld. People who indirectly rule the city. What if Marcus was right? And he really is dangerous. Who are you? I ask, crossing my arms against my shirt. He freezes, a wooden spoon suspended over the pan. What? Your mother came to see me today. I drop my bag on the counter with more force than necessary. Isabella Moretti. I watch the name hit him like a bullet. Watch him process it, search for recognition that doesn't come. His face cycles through confusion, hope, and fear. Moretti. He repeats slowly, testing the weight of it. That's my name? It's your family name, Dimitri Moretti. I step closer, and he backs up instinctively until he hits the counter. Do you know what that means? Should I? The Moretti family controls half the organized crime in this city. My voice shakes, and I hate that it does. I hate that I can't hold on to my composure the way I do in surgery. Protection rackets, gambling, worse. You're not just someone caught in the crossfire, you're a mob heir. The silence stretches heavily between us. I watch him absorb this. Watch the horror dawn across his features. No. The word comes out broken. No, I'm not that person. I can't be. How do you know? Something cruel twists in my chest, making me push harder. You don't remember. I feel it, Elena. He reaches for me, then stops, his hands falling uselessly to his sides. I'm not violent. I'm not cruel. I would remember that, wouldn't I? I can't hurt you. Maybe you can. The words taste like poison. Maybe that's why you move like a fighter. Why you know how to defend yourself without thinking. Why you can cook a perfect meal without a recipe. Because you learned it in some Italian family kitchen while your father ordered people killed. Stop. His voice cracks down the middle, tears standing in his eyes. Please. Stop. But I can't. Because if I stop, If I let myself feel sympathy for him, I'll fall apart completely. Your mother said you're gentle, kind, nothing like your father. I laugh, and it sounds hysterical even to my own ears. Is that true? Or are you just good at pretending? Because I can't seem to comprehend how the heir to a Mafia family could be nice. Does that ever happen? He stares at me like I've slowly peeled his wounds again. I don't know. Those 3 words, so honest, so raw, steal the air from my lungs. Neither do I whisper. We don't talk for the rest of the evening. Dante retreats to the couch, staring at nothing. I hide in my bedroom with my laptop, searching for answers I'm not sure I want to find. The internet tells me everything, and nothing. The Moretti family, 3 generations of alleged criminal activity. Antonio Moretti's reign began in the 90s, built on the bones of smaller operations he absorbed or destroyed. Dimitri Moretti, 35. Heir apparent, no criminal record. The family's lawyer keeps them clean. But rumors, whispers, connections to violence that never quite stick. And photographs. So many photographs. Dimitri in expensive suits at charity galas. Cold, remote. A stranger wearing Dante's face. I find a photo of his father, Antonio Moretti. Hard eyes. Cruel smile. The same man whose dying wish I had foolishly granted. Something about his face triggers a memory. A news story from 3 years ago. My hands shake as I type. And there it is. Sofia Rivera, 24, killed in an apparent hit and run. Police suspect a mob connection. The article mentions Antonio Moretti by name. No charges filed due to insufficient evidence. I stare at the screen until the words blur. Then I run to the bathroom and vomit until there's nothing left. I stand in my bedroom doorway at 2 a.m., watching Dante sleep. He's curled on his side, one hand tucked under his cheek like a child. In the dim light, he looks innocent, incapable of violence. Your father killed my sister, and I saved you. The irony is crushing. The betrayal, to Sofia's memory, to myself, unbearable. I should throw him out. Call the police. Call his mother and let her collect what's left of her son. Let the men hunting him find him and finish what they started. Dad, please, he murmurs, breaking me from my thoughts. Please don't do this, he mutters again, tightening his grip around the pillow he's hugging. I rush to him. My hand smooths his hair back before I can stop myself, and I whisper that he's safe, repeatedly, until he calms down. Then I kiss his forehead and return to my room. Who am I protecting? Him or the man he used to be? I don't have an answer. I'm not sure I want one. And the next morning, I leave early for a double shift I picked up just to avoid him. 12 hours later, I drag myself back home, so exhausted I barely register that my apartment door is ajar until I'm already pushing it open. The scene inside freezes me in place. Dante is on the floor, bleeding from a split lip, pinned by a man who looks like an older, harder version of him. Same dark hair, but where Dante's face is open and uncertain, this man's face is hard, cold. I immediately rush to him. Let go of him or I'll scream and call the neighbors. The man smiles and stares at me before letting go of Dante. Dante rolls to the other side, coughing heavily. He stands up and pulls a handkerchief from his shirt to wipe the blood from his hands. Then he smiles at me, hands tucked into his pockets. Well, for starters, I'm Marco Moretti, the brother of Dimitri, and you must be... He pauses, pretending to think about my name. Dr. Rivera, the woman who's been hiding my little brother. We need to talk. Chapter 5. Dante struggles to stand. He walks toward me and stands in front of me, protecting me from the man before us. I don't know you. My name is Dante, not Dimitri. So please get out of our house. Marco smiles. Mom would be so proud. He begins. Dante's expression falters. That you're finally learning what they call humanity, and that you're protecting a doctor from me. It's nice, you know, finding out that you have a good side. Dante opens his mouth to speak, then shuts it. His hands start trembling. He staggers back. I can see the man's words cutting into him. Stop. He's still healing. He's fine. Marco snaps, not even looking at me. His eyes stay locked on his brother, with something between rage and relief. Aren't you, little brother? Or should I call you Dante now? Is that what she's calling you? Dante stares hard at him. I said, I don't know you. Maybe it's because of how serious he looked when he said the words, or the lack of recognition on his face that makes Marco freeze. What? He has amnesia, I explain. I suck in a deep breath, trying to steady my voice. From the trauma. He doesn't remember anything before the shooting. Marco studies Dante's face, trying to read him. You're serious? He releases Dante, steps back, runs a hand through his hair. Fuck. You really don't remember. We sit in my small living room because I don't know what else to do. Marco takes the armchair like it's a throne. Dante sits on the couch, as far from his brother as the furniture allows. I stand by the window, arms crossed beside Dante. Tell me about the shooting, Dante says quietly. About our father. Marco's jaw tightens. A muscle jumps beneath his eye. We were celebrating a business merger, something popular among the Mafia families, an arranged marriage between our younger brother and another Mafia family. Dad was finalizing a deal with the Castellano family, bringing them into our territory, combining operations. We found out at the last moment that they tricked us. They never wanted to be with us. They spiked the drinks at the wedding. He pauses, and I watch his hands curl into fists. They hit us hard. The Castellanos and the Bratva worked together. They killed as many as they could, because they knew if anyone would avenge our younger brother and father's death, it would be you. It was brutal, man. They killed 30 of us, including our immediate family members. Why? Dante leans forward, his tone heavy, his hands trembling like he's trying to hold himself back. Why would they do that? Why do you think so? Marco laughs, dark, humorless. Territory, power, the same things Dad killed for. I flinch, can't help it. Dante notices. His eyes track to me, then back to his brother. What aren't you telling me? Everything. Marco's voice goes flat. I'm not telling you everything because you don't remember, and maybe that's a fucking blessing. Marco, you want to know who you are, Dimitri? The name comes out like an accusation. You're the heir to an empire built on blood. Dad groomed you from birth to take over, made you sit in on meetings when you were 12, had you collecting debts at 15. By 20, you were making decisions that got people killed. Making decisions that got people killed. Each word lands like a scalpel cut, precise, deliberate, designed to inflict maximum damage. And you were good at it, Marco continues, and something in his voice cracks. You were so fucking good at it. Better than me, better than Dad even. You had his ruthlessness. But with strategy, planning. You thought 3 moves ahead while everyone else was still figuring out the first. Dante's face has gone pale. I can't be that person. But you are. Or you were. Marco's eyes find mine. Ask her, ask Dr. Rivera, what our family does to people who get in the way. They both turn to me for an explanation. I look at Dante, then at Marco, his brother, realizing that I might have been harboring a real killer. That his blue innocent eyes had lied to me too. I thought eyes couldn't lie. But they do. They actually do. I look at the both of them. You want me to explain to your brother what your family does to people who disobey them? I ask. Marco nods his head. Yes, he needs to know who we are, and I turn to Dante. Now that we've found your family, and it turns out that you're the devil, not the angel you claim to be, I think it's time we go. We leave each other. Get out. Both of you need to leave. Dr. Rivera. Marco starts. Get out. My voice shakes, and I hate it. Hate that I'm losing control in front of these men. I saved your brother because your father asked me to. I've risked everything to keep him safe. But I can't do this anymore. You're both dangerous. Elena, I would never hurt you, Dante says, reaching for me. I jerk away immediately. Yes, I know you would never hurt me. Not because you're a good person, but because you owe me. Especially as I kept your miserable self alive. Hurt flashes through his eyes. Elena, don't touch me, don't call my name. By now my voice is shaking. The images I had researched a few days ago flood through my brain. He might be the one. He might have actually been the one who shot my sister, who took her off the road and made me miserable for life. What's wrong? His voice is raw. What did I do? I'm just finding out about my family. But I would never hurt you. I don't care if you hurt me, I snap. The words taste like bile. It's what your family did. Antonio Moretti killed my sister 3 years ago. He was the one who shot my sister, who has struggled to stay alive. No charges filed. Insufficient evidence. The silence that follows is the kind that comes after a flatline, after you've called time of death and there's nothing left but the weight of what you've lost. Marco's face drains of color. Sofia Rivera. He says it like a prayer, like a curse. Jesus Christ, you're Sofia's sister. My heart stops. You knew her? She was collateral damage. The words come out easily, like she was some spare, invaluable thing. Wrong place, wrong time. Dad was sending a message to a rival crew and she... He stops. His eyes meet mine. She heard about his order to kill someone along with the crew, and she immediately wanted to call the police. When my dad found out, he had to kill her. No one hears the family secret and goes scot-free. And you did nothing. It's not a question. What could I do? Marco's voice breaks. He was my father, the boss. You don't... He stops, starts again. You don't understand how this works. You're right. I hear my voice from far away, disconnected. I don't. I turn to look at Dante. He's staring at his hands like they might hold answers. And now I'm hiding his son in my apartment, I say. Saving the son of the man who killed my sister. What does that make me? The man I wished I could have a very important member of his family on my table and kill. Now, what does that make me? Tears stand in my eyes. I'll leave. Dante's voice cuts through the suffocating silence. He stands and walks toward the room where he keeps his few clothes. Even in this situation, my heart still hurts from the fact that we would have to part this way. Right now, you're right. You shouldn't have to carry this. And where? Marco asks. The Castellanos are still hunting you. The Bratva wants you dead. Mother's allies are looking, but so are Dad's enemies. You're a target from every direction. Then maybe I deserve to be found. Don't say that. The words escape before I can stop them. Dante looks at me and something in his expression makes my throat tighten. Why not? You said it yourself. My father killed your sister. My family destroys people. Maybe I'm just like him. Maybe I was worse. You don't know that. And I never will. He laughs. That's the point, isn't it? I'm a blank slate and all anyone can tell me is that I was a monster, that I thought 3 moves ahead and got people killed and was good at it. He takes a step toward me, then stops. Maybe you should have let me die. The words hit me with a heavy shock. Marco leaves eventually, after more threats and warnings and a phone number pressed into my hand that I'll probably never call. The door closes behind him and the silence that follows is worse than any argument. I find Dante in the bedroom, packing the few belongings I've given him. The clothes, the books he's been reading, the small things that made him seem almost human instead of a ghost wearing someone else's face. What are you doing? What I should have done days ago. He doesn't look at me. Leaving? You'll die out there. Better than dying in here. He finally turns, and the raw pain in his eyes steals my breath. Better than watching you look at me like I'm a ghost of your sister's killer. Because the truth is, you would never forgive me, Elena. And it breaks my heart to have you look at me that way. You are the nicest soul I think I'll ever meet. You are literally white, and I am black. We are opposites. I want to let him go. Should let him go. Should open the door, watch him walk out, and never look back. Instead, I hear myself say, what if you're not? What if you're different? He stops, goes very still. How can I ever know? Stay. The word comes out desperate, breaking. Stay and prove it. Be the man you want to be, not the man you were. I feel like you would have been a better person if you'd fallen into an ordinary family like us. So stay. And what if that's not enough? He turns to face me fully now. What if I remember, and I'm exactly who they say I am? What if I remember ordering hits and collecting debts and... His voice cracks. What if I remember liking it? Then we'll deal with it when it happens. I move closer and it feels like I'm taking each step toward the most life-changing decision of my life. But right now you're not that person. Right now you're just Dante. And Dante is kind, and gentle, and makes really good coffee, and reads books. Right now, you are the Dante I have built. My Dante. Something breaks in his expression. He reaches for me, then stops, his hand hovering in the space between us. I don't deserve your mercy. I look at this man, this stranger, this enemy, this broken thing I've stitched back together, and I think about Sophia, about dying wishes and impossible choices, and the way forgiveness sometimes looks like the cruelest kind of wound. Maybe not, I whisper, but I'm giving it anyway. His hand finds mine. His fingers are warm, calloused, trembling slightly, and I don't pull away. To Chapter 6. We exist in a surgical field. Sterile, controlled, everything outside the draped boundaries irrelevant. We don't talk about Sophia. We don't talk about the Moretti family legacy or the men still hunting him, or the fact that every day he stays here is another felony added to my growing list. We exist in this fragile bubble where the past doesn't matter, and the future is something that happens to other people. It's a lie, of course. But it's a lie we both need. Dante reads obsessively. My bookshelf empties as he devours philosophy, history, psychology, anything that might help him build a moral framework from nothing. I come home from shifts to find him surrounded by open books, forehead creased in concentration, like he's studying for an exam that will determine whether his soul is worth saving. Do you think people can change? The question comes one evening, when I'm too tired to guard my answers carefully. He's sitting on the couch, some dense Kant text in his lap, looking at me with those dark eyes that see too much. I set down my coffee, my third cup since getting home an hour ago. I think people can choose to be better, even if they've done unforgivable things. The weight in his voice makes my chest ache. I don't know, I admit softly. But I think trying counts for something. He returns to his book, but I can feel him turning my words over like stones looking for sharp edges. The tension between us shifts after that moment, especially since his brother's arrival. I catch him watching me, not with suspicion or confusion, but with something that makes heat pool low in my belly. Hunger, like I am a fresh breath of air. When I check his wounds, mostly healed now, pink scars the only evidence I ever cut him open, my touch lingers. Professional detachment fails me. My fingers trace the line of sutures on his shoulder. His breath catches. Elena, he calls my name, like a warning, or a plea. Maybe both. I pull away, but not fast enough. I'm sorry, I whisper, looking away. What the hell am I getting myself into? I shouldn't be doing this to you. You're my patient and I pause, searching for the right words. I know I'm your patient. I also know that I'm more than a patient to you, Elena. Just the same way I see you not as some good doctor who saves me. I see you as something more. But we shouldn't do this. It would hurt us both. I nod. Fear and sadness settle at the back of my throat. I want to ask him what he means by seeing me as something more. But I don't ask. I'm afraid to confirm my worst fears, that he might actually feel what I'm feeling. I come home from a brutal shift. 3 traumas, 1 lost, 3 saved by margins so thin. Pasta, sauce from scratch. The kitchen is filled with the smell of garlic and basil, and something warm that makes my eyes sting for reasons that have nothing to do with onions. You didn't have to do this. He glances over his shoulder, and his expression softens as he smiles at me, making my heart stutter. I wanted to. You look exhausted, and I thought a nice dinner would help. I am. Exhausted down to my bones, down to the marrow. But I let him dish the food, pour wine into mismatched glasses, and when we sit across from each other at my small table, it feels dangerously like a date, like normal, like we're normal people instead of a doctor harboring a fugitive and an amnesiac mob heir trying to outrun his own legacy. Tell me about being a surgeon, he says, twirling pasta on his fork with unconscious grace. What do you like about it? 1. I love saving lives. I feel each life I save is me saving my sister again and again. It somehow atones for what happened. I picked cardiology as my main focus because... I pause. What? I smile, trying to find the words to explain the feeling of holding a heart. I don't know how to explain it. Okay. Tell me something you think you would value so much, something that you can't live without. He remains silent for a while, his eyes fixed on mine as he sips his wine slowly. You. I pause. My heart stops. What? I whisper, praying he's joking. It's the truth, Elena. Right now you've become part of my life and I can't imagine it without you. So you are the answer. I smile, pushing down the heat that floods my lower belly. Okay. Well, if that person were to be taken from you, you couldn't function, right? That is how the heart is. Without it, you can't exist. And there's a kind of joy, a rush that comes from being able to restore someone's heart, someone's life, to them. It's amazing, really. Amazing. We're quite a pair, aren't we? The wine makes me brave, reckless, something I shouldn't be. Dante, can I ask you something? Anything. When you look at me, what do you see? He stills, sets down his fork with careful precision, and I watch him consider the question like it's a diagnosis he needs to get exactly right. I see someone who saves people because she can't save the one person who mattered most. His voice drops lower, intimate. I see someone kind enough to protect a stranger who might be her enemy. Someone beautiful who doesn't realize it because she's too busy carrying the world. He reaches across the table. His fingers brush mine and the contact sends electricity racing up my arm. I see the first good thing in a life I can't remember. I should pull away. Should remember who he might be, what his family took from her, from me. Should remember that this is temporary, that eventually reality will crash through our bubble and destroy everything. Instead, I lace my fingers with his. This is a mistake, I whisper. Probably. We can't, I know. But neither of us let go. My phone shatters the moment. Marcus. His name flashes on the screen, and the late hour combined with the 11 missed calls I somehow didn't hear makes my stomach drop. Elena, you need to turn on the news. Now. What happened? I said turn on your TV. Stop asking questions, he snaps. Strange. I fumble for the remote, and there, filling my small TV screen, is Dante's face. Professional photo, expensive suit, cold eyes that belong to a stranger. Dimitri Moretti, heir to the Moretti crime family, still missing after the attack that claimed his father's life. The family is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to his safe return. Anyone with knowledge of his whereabouts is urged to contact. The scene cuts to Isabella Moretti. She looks smaller on screen, diminished by grief. My son is not well. If anyone is helping him, please. Her voice cracks. Please bring him home. He needs medical attention. He needs his family. They know, Marcus says, his voice tinny through the phone speaker. Not that you have him specifically, but they know someone's hiding him. Hospital security is asking questions about the supplies, about the missing records. Elena, this is spiraling. I hang up. Can't process his words. The image on the screen, and Dante's hand still warm in mine, all at the same time. Dante stares at his own face like it belongs to a corpse. $50,000. We need to hide you better, I say, thoughts racing, calculating. My friend has a cabin upstate. No one would think to look. No. Dante, no more running. No more hiding. He stands, and there's something in his posture now. Something harder, more certain. I need to face this. Face them. Face who I am. They'll kill you. My voice is sharp, surgical. The Castellanos, the Bratva. Your brother said you're a target from every direction. Then that's my fate. But I won't let you keep sacrificing yourself for me. That's not your choice to make. Neither is protecting me. His voice rises to match mine. You've given up everything. Your career, your safety, your peace. For what? For someone who might be a monster? You're not. You don't know that. None of us do. He moves closer, and I back up instinctively until my shoulders hit the wall. So tell me, Elena. Tell me why you care. Why risk everything for me? We're breathing hard, too close. Because you're not him. The words tear out of me like a confession. You're not your father. You're not the man they say you were. You're... What? He plants a hand on the wall beside my head, caging me in. What am I to you? Everything. The admission breaks something open in my chest. You're everything. And it's terrifying. And wrong. And I can't. He kisses me. Hard. Desperate. Like he's drowning and I'm air. Like I'm the answer to a question he's been asking since he woke up in that hospital bed. I kiss back. Can't help it. Can't stop it. My fingers tangle in his hair. 3 years of grief and loneliness and fear pouring into this one moment. He tastes like wine, and something darker, and when his hands span my waist, pulling me closer, I forget why this is wrong. When we break apart, both shaking, both gasping, I whisper, "This changes nothing." It changes everything. His forehead rests against mine. And you know it. That night, while Dante sleeps, I make a decision that feels like picking up a scalpel to cut out my own heart. I dial the number from the news broadcast. It rings once, twice. Hello? Isabella Moretti's voice is rough with exhaustion and hope. I close my eyes, take a breath. I have your son, but before I bring him to you, I need the truth about what happened to my sister. Chapter 7. The address Isabella gave me leads to a penthouse that costs more than I'll earn in my lifetime. Glass and steel, and the kind of view that makes the city look clean from this height. Dante sits rigid in the passenger seat, knuckles white where he grips his knees. Why are you doing this? His voice is barely audible over the engine's hum. I stop the car and turn to him. Because you deserve to know who you are. The real story. Not just what your brother said. And then what? I don't have an answer that won't sound like a lie, so I give him the only truth I have left. Then you decide what happens next. Isabella Moretti waits in a living room that could fit my entire apartment 3 times over. She's elegant, even in grief, controlled. But when she sees Dante, something in her face cracks, like dropped porcelain. Dimitri. The word falls from her lips like a prayer, like absolution she doesn't deserve. He stands stiff in the doorway and I watch him fight the urge to run. I don't remember you. I know. Marco told me. She approaches slowly, each step measured. May I hug you? He nods. Barely. And she embraces him with a mother's desperation, like she can hold him together through sheer force of will. I watch a son who doesn't remember being held by a mother who thought she'd lost him forever, and something in my chest twists so hard, I have to look away. When they separate, Isabella turns to me. Her eyes are the same gray as her husband's were, but softer, sadder. Thank you for keeping him safe. And I'm sorry. Her voice drops. For everything my husband took from you. The apology should feel good, should feel like vindication. Instead, it just feels like another wound. We sit in chairs as Isabella pours tea with hands that shake just enough to rattle the fine china. You want to know about Sofia Rivera? About the night she died? Yes. My voice comes out steady, clinical. The same tone I use to deliver terminal diagnoses. Antonio ordered it, my husband. Isabella's voice goes flat, mechanical. Sofia witnessed a transaction she shouldn't have. Wrong place, wrong time. She worked at a cafe across from one of our fronts. Saw faces she shouldn't have seen. The room tilts. I grip the armrest to stay upright. So he murdered her. He gave the order. Isabella sets down her teacup. Won't meet my eyes. But he didn't carry it out. She looks at Dante. And in that look I read everything before she says it. You did. The silence that follows is the kind that comes after a code blue fails, after you've shocked and compressed and pushed every drug in the crash cart, and the monitor stays flat, final, irrevocable. Dante stares at his mother like she's speaking a language he doesn't understand. No. You were following orders. Antonio's orders. You didn't question. None of you questioned. Isabella's eyes shimmer with tears that don't fall. I didn't know until after. By then, it was done. You're saying I killed her sister. Dante's voice is hollow, scraped clean. I'm a murderer. You were a soldier following your father's commands. It's how you were raised, how... Don't. I stand, and the room spins, like I'm in hypovolemic shock. Don't make excuses for him. I'm not. What happened was unforgivable. But Dr. Rivera, you need to understand. Isabella leans forward. The man sitting here is not the man who did that. The attack, the trauma, something changed in Dimitri's brain. My son is gone. This person, he's someone new. That's convenient. The words taste like acid. He can't remember the murder, so he doesn't have to live with it. I want to remember. Dante's quiet voice cuts through my rage. If I did this, I need to know. I need to face it. Isabella produces a file from somewhere. Maybe she was holding it all along. Maybe it materialized from the expensive furniture. Crime scene photos. Police reports stamped with red ink and black lies. And one photograph that makes my knees buckle. Sofia. Dead in the street, her dark hair spread across asphalt like spilled ink. And in the background, blurred but recognizable, a younger version of Dante walking away. Oh God. The air won't reach my lungs. Can't reach them. Dante stares at the photo, as proof of his worst fear made manifest in glossy aches 10. I did this, I killed her. Dimitri, Isabella starts. Get away from me. He backs toward the door, and his voice breaks on every word. Both of you. I'm a monster. I'm exactly what everyone said. No. I reach for him, instinct overriding reason. Don't touch me. He jerks away like I've burned him. Don't you understand? I killed your sister. I took her from you. How can you even look at me? Because you're not him anymore. I am him. The anguish in his voice shatters something fundamental. I'll always be him. Memory or no memory, that's my blood on my hands and that's who I am. He runs, just turns and runs, and I chase, of course I chase, but he's faster. Disappears into the stairwell, into the city, into the night before I can stop him. Before I can tell him what I realized somewhere between the photo and his breaking, that I don't care. God help me. I don't care. Let him go. Isabella's voice comes from behind me, quiet and resigned. He needs time to process. He'll get himself killed out there. I'm still staring at the stairwell door like he might reappear, like this might be fixable. Then that's his choice. Her hand touches my shoulder, light as a ghost. You've done more than anyone could ask. You saved him twice, from death and from being his father's son. But you can't save him from himself. What if I don't want to save him? The words catch in my throat, sharp-edged. What if I want... I stop, can't say it, can't make it real. What if you love him anyway? Isabella finishes gently, and I break. 3 years of held grief come pouring out. For Sophia, for the sister I couldn't save, for the man I shouldn't love who killed her. I sob into my hands like a first-year resident after their first lost patient. Ugly and desperate and human. How can I? I gasp when I can breathe again. How can I love him knowing what he did? Because love isn't logical. Isabella sits beside me. And because the man you love isn't the man who did those things. Not anymore. That doesn't make it okay. No. She squeezes my hand. But it makes it human. My apartment door hangs open when I return. Not just unlocked, open, like a wound. Like someone's invitation to see what they've done. Inside is chaos, furniture overturned, books scattered like broken bones. My medical journals are torn and trampled. They were looking for something, or sending a message. Probably both. A note is taped to my door. Block letters that don't bother hiding the threat. We know you had him. Tell us where he went or you're next. The Castellanos. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer with shaking hands. Dr. Rivera, this is Dimitri, Dante. His voice is steady now, calm in the way that comes right before people do something irreversible. I'm turning myself into the Castellanos. It's the only way to end this, to protect you. Ice floods my veins. No, Dante. They'll kill you. I deserve it. For Sophia. For everything. A pause, and I can hear traffic in the background. Horns, voices, the sounds of a city that will keep moving long after we're both gone. I'm sorry. For all of it. Goodbye, Elena. And... He pauses. I love you. The line goes dead, and I'm left standing in my destroyed apartment, holding a phone that can't call him back, watching everything I've tried to save slip through my fingers like blood. Chapter 8. My fingers are numb by the time I manage to dial Marco's number. The phone slips twice before I get it to my ear, and when he answers, I don't bother with greetings or explanations, just the facts, delivered in the same clipped tone I use when calling a code blue. Your brother is surrendering to the Castellanos. Silence. Then, he's what? He found out about Sophia, about what he did. My voice cracks despite my best efforts. He thinks he deserves to die. More silence, longer this time, filled with the sound of Marco processing, calculating. Where? I don't know. He didn't say. But Marco, if they get him, they'll torture him for information about our operations, then kill him slowly. His voice turns to steel. I'll mobilize our people. But Dr. Rivera, if you want to save him, you need to move faster than we can. How? The word comes out desperate. You're not family, you're not a threat. The Castellanos might talk to you. They might listen. Why would they? Because you're the sister of someone my family wronged. Because you have credibility they'd respect. Marco's voice drops. And because if you're with him when they find him, they might hesitate long enough for us to get there. My hands shake. Where would he go? The hospital chapel, where we found him that night. Go, now. I'll have people there in 15 minutes. Marco, if you're using me as bait. I'm not. I'm trusting you to keep my baby brother alive long enough for me to save him. His voice cracks, just barely. Please. The line goes dead. I run 6 blocks in the rain, My scrubs are soaked by the time I reach St. Michael's, plastered to my skin, making every step heavy. The chapel is dark, except for the candles that are lit and a soft piano playing in the background. And there, kneeling before the altar like he's praying for absolution he doesn't believe in, is Dante. I take a step closer, my hands trembling. "You shouldn't have come." He doesn't turn around. His voice is low. "Neither should you." I move closer, water dripping from my clothes onto the worn carpet. This is suicide. It's justice. It's cowardice. The word makes him flinch, shoulders drawing up. Good. I want him to flinch. You want to die because it's easier than living with what you've done. You think I'm taking the easy way? He turns, his eyes red, cheeks wet with something that might be rain, or might be tears. You think dying is easier than looking at you every day knowing I killed your sister? I killed the sister of the woman I unknowingly fell in love with. And you think dying is easier? Yes. The confession bursts out of me. Because if you die, you don't have to change. You don't have to be better. You just get to escape while I'm left with nothing, not Sophia, not you. Just grief, compounded on grief. There is no better for me. I'm a murderer. You were. My voice breaks down in the middle. But you're not anymore. And throwing your life away doesn't bring Sophia back. It just means you die as him, as your father's son, as the man he made you. Is that what you want? What I want doesn't matter. It matters to me. The words tear out of my chest like I'm ripping out my own sutures. It matters to me because despite everything, despite Sophia, despite your family, despite knowing what you did, I love you. I love the man you've become, and I can't watch you die. He stares at me like I've just told him the earth is flat. How can you love me? I don't know. I laugh, and it sounds hysterical even to my own ears. But I do. And Sophia would want me to choose life. She'd want me to choose hope. She wouldn't want me to let grief destroy something good. The chapel door slams open like a gunshot. 6 men pour in, weapons drawn, fanning out with the kind of practiced efficiency that says they've done this before. Leading them is a man in a black suit, a gun in his hands. Dimitri Moretti. His voice echoes around the chapel. The piano has stopped playing. You saved me the trouble of hunting you. His gaze slides to me, and the smile widens into something predatory. And Dr. Rivera, the sister. This is poetic. Dante steps in front of me instinctively, putting his body between me and the guns. Let her go. This is between us. Oh no, she's part of this now. The man, has to be Victor Castellano, circles us. The woman who saved you, who hid you, who apparently fell in love with her sister's killer. That's a Greek tragedy if I ever heard one. What do you want? I force my voice steady, clinical. Originally, to kill him, eliminate the Moretti heir, destabilize the family. Victor's smile never reaches his eyes. But now I'm thinking there's a better way to play. Dimitri Moretti, broken and traumatized, in love with his victim's sister. That's leverage. That's control. I'll never work for you, Dante says. Won't you? Victor pulls a gun, presses it to my temple, the cold metal against my skin, and I forget to breathe. To keep her alive. Everything happens at once. Dante lunges for Victor. Gunshots crack through the chapel. I scream out loud, trembling. Or maybe that's someone else. Maybe that's the sound of the world ending, but it's not Dante who gets shot. A woman bursts through the side entrance, young, blonde, wearing a server's uniform from the restaurant next door. The gun goes off. Someone's screaming. Then Marco and his men flood the chapel, and suddenly the air is full of gunpowder and shouting and the wet sound of bullets finding flesh. Dante covering me as the gunshots fly around. The firefight is brutal and brief. The Castellanos retreat under heavy fire, dragging their wounded. Victor escapes, but 3 of his men don't. When the smoke clears and my ears stop ringing, the blonde woman is lying on the chapel floor in a spreading pool of blood. Help her! Dante's voice cracks. Elena, please. I drop beside her, hands already moving on autopilot. Pressure on the wound, abdominal high and left, probably hit the spleen. Stay with me. What's your name? Lucia. Blood froths at her lips. Lucia Castellano. My hands falter. Castellano? Victor's daughter. Each word costs her. Didn't agree with killing innocents. Saw you. Tried to stop him. Why? Dante grips her hand. Why save us? Because you tried. To give yourself up. To protect her. Lucia's eyes find mine. And they're so young. Too young. That's not a monster. That's someone worth saving. I work frantically, applying pressure, checking for exit wounds, calculating blood loss. But I already know. The wound is too severe, too much damage. Even in an OR with a full surgical team, her chances would be slim. Here, in a chapel with nothing but my hands, she has none. I'm sorry, I whisper as the light starts to fade from her eyes. I'm so sorry. We escape in Marco's SUV, police sirens wailing in the distance. My hands are covered in Lucia's blood. It's under my nails, in the creases of my palms, drying to rust brown on my wrists. I can't stop staring at them. She died saving us, Dante says hollowly. Another death on my conscience. She died making a choice. Marco's voice is hard from the driver's seat. Her choice. Don't take that from her. I stare out the window at the rain, at the city lights bleeding together through water and glass. It never ends, does it? The violence. The death. No, Marco admits. Not in our world. Then I want out. Both of us. I turn to look at Dante and something in my chest crystallizes into certainty. I want out of this life. Elena, Dante starts. No, if we do this, if we try to make this work, we do it away from the families, away from the violence. We disappear. The Castellanos will hunt us, Marco warns. Let them. We'll run. We'll hide. But I won't lose anyone else I love to this world. I grip Dante's hand, feel his pulse jumping under my fingers. Please, choose me. Choose life. Dante looks at his brother. Can you handle the family without me? I've been handling it for months while you were gone. Maybe it's time to make it permanent. Marco drops us at a safe house on the edge of the city. Before he leaves, he pulls Dante aside. I watch them through the window, two brothers who look nothing alike, having a conversation I can't hear. When Dante comes back inside, his eyes are wet. What did he say? That the man I wasn't all bad. That I protected him, kept him from becoming too much like our father. He sits beside me on the worn couch, and that I hated what I had to do. I just never saw a way out. Until now, I whisper. Until you. He takes my blood-stained hand in his. What about the Castellanos? Victor won't stop. Marco says he'll handle it, negotiate a truce or end the war. I lean into him, suddenly exhausted down to my bones. But we need to disappear. Completely. Dimitri Moretti has to die. He already has, Dante says. And I believe him. Chapter 9. Elena. The safe house smells like stale coffee and someone else's life. Ghosts before we disappear completely. I call the hospital from a burner phone Marco provided. My hand shakes as I dial the number I've known by heart for 6 years. St. Michael's Administrative Office. This is Dr. Elena Volkov. I need to speak about my resignation. The words taste like failure, like giving up, like throwing away everything I've worked for since Sophia died. But they also taste like freedom. She tries to convince me to stay, asks if it's burnout, if I need time off, if there's anything the hospital can do. I tell her nothing, and eventually she stops asking, signs the paperwork, wishes me well. With disappointment I can hear through the phone. Marcus is the only one I tell the truth, or a version of it. I'm leaving. Don't ask where. silence on the other end, then, "Be happy. You deserve it." Do I? I'm not sure, but I'm choosing it anyway. And then, 2 weeks later, after I had snuck out to buy food, I came back and found him unconscious, on the floor, alive but unconscious. Panic floods my chest as I call out for help. The ambulance arrives minutes later, me inside, trying to find out what happened. There's no wound, no cut, nothing, like he just fainted. He woke up a few hours later. His memories returned, almost all. "Not full memories," he says, staring at me as he holds my hands. "But I remember the death, my father's instructions, that family comes first, and the only way to end something is through killing." His jaw tightens, and I remember a sister. My breath catches. "You have a sister?" "Had. She died when I was young, maybe 7 or 8. His voice goes flat, distant. "Some rival family sent a message. Car bomb. She was 12. Dante, that's when my father became what he became, when he turned me into his weapon." He finally meets my eyes. I'm not making excuses. What I did to Sophia was unforgivable, but I wasn't born a monster. I was made into one. And now, I reach across the table, take his hand. Now I choose who I want to be. His fingers lace through mine. "If you'll have me." "I already chose you," I whisper. "In the chapel. Maybe even before that." I take him home a few days later. The fact that he's promised to never go back to his past life fills my heart with joy. We sit on the couch talking about the movie we're watching when he drags me closer. His hand cups my face. My fingers tangle in his hair. The kiss deepens and 3 weeks of tension, fear, and impossible feelings pour into it. Clothes fall away as he carries me to the room, wrapping my legs around his waist, kissing me. Afterward, we lie tangled together, rain pattering against the windows. His chest rises and falls beneath my cheek, and I trace the scars I gave him, the pink lines where I stitched him back together. "Tell me something true," I whisper. "I love you." His voice rumbles through his chest. "I don't deserve you, but I love you." "Something else." "I'm terrified," he admits quietly, "that you'll one day wake up and decide I don't deserve you, and walk away. That I'll lose you," he whispers. I sit upright to look at his face. "I would never do that, Dante. I would never leave you. We'll figure it out together." I kiss the scar on his shoulder. Like everything else. He pulls me closer, and his next words are so quiet I almost miss them. "I've never felt safe before. Now that I remember how my life was, you are my safe space, Elena. My peace." I smile, a genuine, happy smile. "Good. Because you're stuck with me now." His laugh vibrates through both of us. "Promise?" "Promise." I laugh, because I'm finally happy. Because the years of reading books about forgiveness did not go to waste. And because I will not die bitter. With Dante in my life, I've forgiven myself. For the quarrel I had with my sister. For everything. It's like a weight has been lifted off my chest. Marco arrives 3 days later with an envelope that holds our future. He spreads documents across the kitchen table. Passports, birth certificates, medical licenses, employment records. A complete history for people who never existed until now. Meet Daniel and Emma Carter. He taps the passports. "You're from Portland, recently married, moving east for her medical residency." I pick up my new passport, study the woman in the photo who has my face but a different name. Emma Carter. "Where are we going?" "Vermont. A small hospital there needs a trauma surgeon. You'll be Dr. Emma Carter, fresh out of your fellowship." Marco slides another document toward Dante. Daniel is a freelance security consultant, explains any skills he might let slip. "Security consultant?" Dante raises an eyebrow. "Well, you can't exactly put reformed mob heir on a resume." Marco's smile is thin. "Your paper trail goes back 30 years, schools attended, Jobs held, tax returns filed, it's solid. I used the best forger in the business. How much did this cost? I ask. Don't worry about it. Consider it a wedding present. He glances between us. You are getting married, right? The paperwork assumes you are. Dante looks at me and something passes between us. A question. An answer. A promise. Yeah, he says quietly. We are. Isabella comes to say goodbye the night before we leave. She embraces her son for a long time and I look away to give them privacy. When they finally separate, her eyes are wet. I'm proud of you, she whispers, for choosing differently than your father. Will you be safe? Dante asks, and I can hear the guilt underneath, leaving his mother to handle the fallout. Marco and I will manage. The family is changing, slowly, but it's changing. She touches his face like she's memorizing it. You were always the gentle one, even when Antonio tried to beat it out of you. I should have protected you better. You did what you could. She turns to me and her smile is sad, grateful, and complicated. Thank you for giving him back to me, even if only briefly, and for showing him there's another way. Take care of Marco, I say softly. He's a good man trapped in a bad situation. He's more like Dimitri than either of them know. Isabella's voice drops. Perhaps one day he'll find his own way out. We watch her leave in Marco's SUV, taillights disappearing into the night. And I wonder if we'll ever see her again. The night before we leave, I'm packing the few belongings we're taking when I hear glass shatter. The sound comes from the living room, sharp, sudden. My heart stops, restarts, hammers against my ribs. Dante is in the shower. I'm alone. I move to the doorway and freeze. Victor Castellano stands in my living room, gun leveled at my chest. Rain drips from his expensive coat onto the worn carpet. Did you really think you could just walk away? Chapter 10. The gun barrel looks like the end of everything, black and absolute and pointed at my chest. He's here to kill me, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. Then Dante emerges from the bedroom, hair still wet from the shower, and freezes. Let her go. His voice is steady, but I can see the terror in his eyes. This is between us. Everything is between us now, Moretti. Victor's voice snaps. You took my daughter from me. Lucia died because she chose mercy, Dante says, taking a careful step forward. Because she was better than both of us. She died because you made her soft. Victor's hand shakes harder and I watch his finger rest against the trigger. One wrong move, and this ends. She was supposed to be my heir, my legacy, and you corrupted her with your weakness. Loving someone isn't a weakness. The words escape before I can stop them. It's the bravest thing we can do. Shut up. Victor swings the gun toward me, and my breath catches. You don't get to speak. You're the reason this started. Your sister seeing what she shouldn't have seen. My sister was innocent. My voice shakes, but I force it steady. She didn't deserve to die. None of us deserve anything. We just take what we can and survive. He aims at my head, and the world narrows to that black circle. And I'm taking my revenge. Dante moves before I can scream, puts himself between me and the gun. You want revenge? Take it, but let her go. Dimitri, no. I grab his arm, try to pull him back, but he doesn't move. It's okay. His voice is calm, certain, like he's already made peace with dying. I've been running from who I was, what I did. But Elena, you taught me that the only way through is forward. The only way to atone is to live. And sometimes, to die, doing better. Please. I'm begging now, begging Victor through tears. I didn't even know I was crying. Please don't. He's changed. He's not the man who... He'll always be that man. Victor's finger tightens on the trigger. The shot explodes through the room. Blood splashes around. I scream my lungs out. But it's not Dante who falls. Marco crashes through the door, gun still smoking in his hand. Victor crumples, blood spreading across his expensive coat like spilled wine. He drops beside me. I've been tracking him for days, Marco says, lowering his weapon. Knew he'd come for you eventually. Dante drops beside Victor, fingers searching for a pulse at his throat. He's still alive. Barely. Should have aimed better, Marco mutters. No. I'm moving before I think about it, knees hitting the floor beside Victor. Mr. Castellano, can you hear me? His eyes focus on mine, and the rage in them has burned down to something else. Let me die. I'm a doctor. It's not in my nature. I look at Dante. First aid kit now. Elena, he tried to kill you, Marco protests, and I'm choosing mercy anyway. My hands are already assessing the wound. High chest, right side, probably missed the heart. Survivable if I'm fast enough. That's how this cycle ends, when someone chooses differently. We stabilize Victor enough to move him, but I refuse to take him to a hospital. Too many questions. Too many connections between the Morettis and Castellanos. Dead daughters and disappeared heirs. We'd all end up in custody or dead before morning. Instead, I perform emergency surgery in the safe house with Marco's supplies and Dante assisting. It's nothing like the sterile precision of an OR. No anesthesiologist, no surgical nurse, no backup if something goes wrong. Just me and my hands, and the muscle memory of 1,000 procedures, trying to save a man who wants to die, who wants to kill me. Why are you doing this? Marco asks, watching me sew his wounds up. Because someone has to break the pattern. My voice is steady, even though my hands want to shake. Someone has to choose life over revenge. Victor almost dies twice. Once when his lung collapses. Once when his pressure drops so low I can barely find a pulse. But I'm relentless, and eventually, finally, his vitals stabilize. When it's over, I collapse against Dante, exhausted and covered in blood for the second time in my life. For a Castellano. You're insane, Marco says, his tone laced with respect. Probably, I whisper into Dante's chest. But I'm also right. Victor wakes 2 days later, confused and surprised. I'm checking his vitals when his eyes flutter open, tracking across the unfamiliar room before landing on me. Why? Those are the first words he speaks, immediately remembering what happened. Why save me? Because your daughter did the same for us. I adjust his IV. And because I've lost too many people to get revenge, and I'm done losing people. Tears track down his weathered face. Lucia, my beautiful girl. She was brave, Dante speaks from the doorway, and Victor's eyes snap to him. Braver than any of us. She chose what was right over what was easy. Like you. Victor's voice breaks. You took a bullet for her. For the sister of your victim. That's... He stops, overcome. That's what Lucia would have wanted. What she died for. So what now? Marco asks from his position by the window, hand still close to his weapon. Victor is quiet for a long time, staring at the ceiling like the answers might be written there. Now, I go home, and I will end this war. For Lucia, for all the daughters and sons we've sacrificed to pride and revenge. A week later, the Moretti and Castellano families sign a formal peace treaty. The first in 3 generations, Marco tells us. The first since before his father was born. We watch it on the news from the safe house. Isabella and Victor meeting as equals, both having lost too much to violence, both choosing, finally, something different. To our children, Victor says on screen, raising a glass, may they be wiser than we were. To break cycles, Isabella agrees. Marco pulls Dante aside after, and I pretend not to listen while I pack the last of our belongings. You did this, you know that, right? Marco's voice is rough. By walking away, by choosing her, you made this possible. I didn't do anything. Elena did. She showed me there was another way. Then maybe love isn't weakness after all, Marco says quietly. Maybe it's the only strength that matters. We We stand in O'Hare Airport, new passports in hand, waiting to board a flight that will take us to our new life. Emma and Daniel Carter. The names still feel foreign in my mouth, but I'll grow into them. We both will. Last chance to change your mind, I say, watching travelers rush past us. We can stay, help rebuild. No, this is their world. We're building our own. Daniel, kisses my forehead. Ready to be Emma Carter? Ready to be anyone, as long as I'm with you. The boarding call comes over the intercom. We join the line, and I look back one last time at the city visible through the massive windows. Chicago, the city that holds Sophia's memory. My old life, everything I'm losing. And then I look at Dante, and I realize everything I'm gaining. No regrets? He asks as we settle into our seats. Only one. I take his hand, lace our fingers together. That Sophia never got to meet you. The real you. She would have liked you. I hope so. His voice catches, because I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of her sister. The plane takes off. Below, Chicago disappears into clouds and distance. And somewhere ahead, in a small town in Vermont where nobody knows our names or our history, a new life waits. I lean my head on Dante's shoulder and close my eyes. For the first time in 3 years, I feel like I can breathe. Chapter 11. It's been 6 months in Vermont, and I still wake up sometimes expecting to hear Chicago traffic, expecting the sharp antiseptic smell of the hospital, expecting to be someone else. Instead, there's silence, broken only by Dante's breathing beside me, and the distant scrape of a neighbor's snow shovel against concrete. I have been settling in as Dr. Emma Carter at the medical center. The work is good, slower paced than Chicago's trauma bay, more routine surgeries, fewer gunshot wounds. My colleagues respect my skill without knowing where I honed it, without knowing what I've done. None of them know about the life I left behind. But every time I sign a chart with my fake name, I feel the weight of it, this new skin I'm learning to wear. We create routines the way I once learned surgical procedures, repetition, until they become instinct. I work my shifts at the medical center. Dante takes online courses in psychology, philosophy, ethics, trying to understand the mind he's rebuilding from scratch, and he volunteers at the youth center downtown, working with at-risk kids. I come with him once, watch from the doorway as he talks to a group of teenage boys who look homeless and hungry. They remind me of what he must have been, lost, looking for belonging in dangerous places. Maybe if someone had shown me another path, he tells me later, hands wrapped around a mug of hot chocolate from the cafe next door, I wouldn't have become what I was. You're a natural with them, I observe. I understand them. The anger. The feeling of being trapped by circumstances you didn't choose. He stares into his cup. I see myself in every one of them. And I think, if I can show them something different, maybe I can save them from becoming me. You're saving them, I whisper, my throat tightening. The way I couldn't save you in time. You did save me. He looks at me, and the tenderness in his expression makes my chest ache. Just in a different way. The proposal happens on a frozen February night. It's my idea to try ice skating on the lake, something neither of us has ever done, something that belongs only to this new life. Dante falls more than he glides, arms windmilling, legs going in directions they shouldn't. I laugh, really laugh, the kind that comes from somewhere deep and unguarded, and the sound echoes across the frozen expanse. I'm terrible at this, he says, sprawled on the ice for the third time. You're trying. I offer my hand to pull him up. That's what matters. He takes my hand but doesn't stand, just looks up at me, and something in his expression makes my breath catch in the cold air. Marry me. What? We're already married on paper, Emma and Daniel Carter, legal in all 50 states. He gets to his knees, still holding my hand. But I want it to be real. I want to choose you, officially, with Full knowledge of who I am and who I was. Marry me, Elena Rivera, not Emma Carter. You, the woman who saved my life twice. Once from death, once from myself. The tears come before I can stop them, freezing on my cheeks. Yes. Yes, of course yes. He stands, pulls me close, and we kiss on the ice, surrounded by snow and stars, and the promise of a future neither of us thought we'd have. His lips are cold, but his hands are warm where they cup my face. I don't have a ring, he murmurs against my mouth. I don't need one. I pull back just enough to see his face. I just need you. This is you. The one who volunteers with teenagers and falls on ice and is trying so hard to be good. I'll probably keep failing. Then I'll keep catching you. I kiss him again, softer this time. That's what we do. We catch each other. We skate, badly, for another hour before the cold drives us home. Our house smells like the wood he's been working with, like the coffee I left brewing, like the life we're building one day at a time. We shed our winter layers, and I make hot chocolate while he builds a fire in the small fireplace. We should do it soon, I say, handing him a mug. The wedding. How soon? This weekend, just us. A justice of the peace, nothing fancy. Your friends from the hospital. Don't need to be there. I sit beside him on the couch, tucking my feet under me. This is about us, about choosing each other when we don't have to, when we could still walk away. I'm never walking away from you, he says fiercely. I know. I lean against him, listening to his heartbeat, steady beneath my ear. But I want you to promise it anyway, with witnesses and legal documents, and everything that makes it real. Then that's what we'll do. He kisses the top of my head. This weekend, Elena Rivera and Dante. He stops and I feel him smile. I still don't have a last name, not a real one. Take mine, I say softly. Be Dante Rivera. Let Sophia be part of this, part of us. His breath catches. Are you sure? I'm sure. And I am. Because Sophia would want this, would want her death to lead to something other than grief, would want her name to be part of something beautiful instead of just tragic. Dante Rivera, he says, testing it. I like it. Good. I close my eyes, letting the warmth of the fire and his presence seep into my bones. Because you're stuck with it now. Outside, snow continues to fall, covering our tracks, giving us the blank slate we both need. We've come to the end of the story. Please, if you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also tell us where you are watching from. See you next time. Bye.